Hey, what's going on, family? Thank you all for tuning in to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Look, I'm at the home of Dr. Robin Williams. I'm going to interview her as she talks about her bid to become the next mayor of Houston, Texas, the purpose of serving, and the purpose of politics, why you should vote in local elections, and the benefit that will benefit you as the individual or a citizen here in the great state of Texas, in the city of Houston, Texas, right? So you all stay tuned. It's getting ready to go down. We'll see you in just a bit live right here with Dr. Robin Williams. All right, family, as I told you all, we be back with Dr. Robin Williams right here on Verbal Pick Radio. I'd like to welcome her to the show. Welcome to the show, Dr. Robin Williams.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Mr. Vincent. Again, this is our second time. The first time we met, I believe I was 32, running for mayor, the mayor of Houston, Texas, in the last mayoral election. And now I'm 34, so something must have took place. It had to, growth, or I just either age. But let's go with growth.
Right. The growth, but I'm noticing the new look. Right.
Absolutely. When I came out 32 years old, I was every bit of, very young. I wouldn't say I was immature because I'm 32. I already served in the Marine Corps, been the manager of the American Red Cross, and had my double master's at that time in criminal management justice administration. But when I say young at 32, I came in very, bright eye, bushy tail.
Right.
I wore my hair, very long, very like a politician, suits and things of that nature, stayed in the navy blues, the blacks. And so as I developed in being a politician and understanding what a politician actually meant, I kind of, I changed with the times. I did a drastic wardrobe change, cut my hair, and really embrace femininity and also embrace being a working class politician. I go to work every day. I'm in school. I'm also in different business ventures, and this feels comfortable to me. Women, ladies, if you've never cut your hair, now's the time. And it shows the level of fierceness, what you are about, and it just shows empowerment because you can't hide behind curls and pearls. It's just all grit and a little bit of purple.
Well, the thing that I love about you most after meeting you is the fact that you are a young person taking on a big responsibility to become the mayor of Houston, Texas, because we need that passing of the baton to a fresh, energized person that can take their vision and take the city of Houston and to a place where we desperately need to go because the time is right, and you wasn't afraid. You went in there and fought with the best of them, from the Sheila Jackson Lees to the Whitmires, and you holding your own. And I'm like, wow, look at this. You was the youngest one, on stage, but people were so excited and they clapped every time after you said something. Then I noticed I go to places and they couldn't wait, or they was like, where's Robin? And they clapped, people were clapping for you, and they would run up to you. People would give you hugs. The elderly was like, it was like a child just being passed around, and everybody wanted to hold that baby. You know what I mean? And I said, okay, well, she got something, But the thing is how do you feel of the baton being passed to the next generation? To give it that boost or that energy that it desperately so needs.
The thing about baton, we think of a baton, you think of a race. A person has to take off with as much speed as possible. They have to take off with a lot of speed, because speed ensures that you'll win the race, because the faster you go, the faster you can pass the baton. And when I look at our senior politicians, they were politicians during a hard time. It was, some were African American, Latino, Hispanic, Asian, and in between. They were literally not allowed to be a politician, or they had to fight really hard to have all races vote for them. And it's not about a color or gender thing when we think about politics. It's about, are you willing to do the right thing? Bottom line. And so when we're running as fast, they ran, but they were not ready to pass the baton. I think that is what happened. We had two seasoned politicians that were well into their 70s running against a group of individuals ranging from 32 to 50. And me being 32 at the time, I was one of the youngest candidates, but I was very experienced. I had a background that rivaled a lot of their backgrounds. I had served in the Marine Corps during the time of war. Was a manager of the American Red Cross, worked as a detention officer, worked as a police officer, and embarked on earning my doctoral degree. And so I think with the baton being passed, they were just like, I'm not ready to let it go. I'm not ready. I haven't finished my lap. But the thing about passing the baton, you don't have to finish the lap. Get us to the next part of the race so that the next person can grab it. And I don't think they were ready for it. But I see now with the presidential election, we have two senior citizens running for the president, which is one of the highest office you can run for. And it's nothing about age discrimination or ageist or sexist or anything like that. We have individuals who are past their prime running. But if you don't pass the baton, that is what we're going to get all day, every day. We're going to get individuals that have exhausted their level of being a politician. So I'm here, whether you pass the baton or not. I might just have to tap you on the shoulder and say, excuse me, my turn, and grab it and go and finish the lap so that I can pass it to the next generation.
Exactly. And through this interview, you all will see why the baton needs to be passed to Dr. Robin Williams, right? Now, you mentioned, and I've read how you was police officer, the Marine Corps, the Red Cross. You help people with mental health issues. Where did you get that desire to serve others?
I guess growing up on the south side of Chicago, my mom struggled with schizoaffective major depression throughout our entire childhood, and she worked in the nursing field. And she wasn't just a person that neglected everything, all of her responsibilities. This was a young lady that was a nurse that went to school, that graduated, and all of a sudden mental health hit her and no one knew what to do. But she had 4 children to look after, and my grandmother stepped up. But again, no one knew. This is during the time of 90s. If you think mental health is a silent elephant now, what did you think it was in the 90s? And so seeing my mom grow up and being mistreated with a diagnosis of mental health or schizoaffective major depression, it made me have a heart for all people. And so that's why I'm a behavior clinician now. And I think that's one of the most rewarding things you can do is actually sit down and provide services for a group or a population of people that individuals don't believe should be here.
Exactly. And that is what we need, that spirit of service. I mean, what greater thing that you can do for the greater good of humanity than serve them, and you have that in you, and that's one of the reasons why I tell people, look, this is the energy for the future that the country desperately needs, because so often people are into what's in it for them or their egos, and they make decisions based on what they're going to get out of it. But by me quietly just observing how you move, you always provide the service, and you reach out to those, that's around you, and you there trying to see what they need, And we're going to cut right here and pick it back up in 2 minutes. They calling about that damn debate. Okay. And we finna pick up in 3, 2, 1. And also, as I stated, I would see children, that would come up to you after your debates and just want to shake your hand,
Because it's imperative that children see their future. When they see their future, they see a young lady or a young adult. They don't necessarily see themselves from a kid to an older person. They see someone that's in between that looks like their mom, and most children can't wait to be like mom or dad, or maybe even big brother, big sister. And so to me, I felt like those children were like, wow, I can be her in the future. I am her, whether it was male or female. So that's so important that you give children that ignition to want to do it. Even back in the day, every kid I could remember wanted to be a police officer or a firefighter, because that's what we saw, and we knew those were the cool kids. Or they wanted to serve in the military. They wanted to do something that involved servitude. It wasn't until maybe they got in high school in their more impressionable years they decided to say, well, I'll be a teacher, a doctor. That's still servitude, but in that moment, they saw the people that were closer to them. So that's your everyday workers, like your white collar workers, police officers, firefighters.
Exactly. And then from there, and we're getting ready to get into the heart and the meat of this interview. And from there, we get into from service to politics, right? Mm-hmm. And I would love, right, for you to break down the reason why politics is important and the reason why local elections are important. And also, because I know this is heavy though, but also the purpose of voting your best interest as an individual. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm saying this is because oftentimes when I speak to people, and I go through different communities, and not just in Houston, and it's like people need a one-on-one on politics and on their interests and why voting local politics, how it would help them, because most people are, well, what's in it for me? Mm-hmm. Voting, I'm not voting. I don't care nothing about voting. What voting for what? I don't know them people. You know what I mean? And bills get passed and certain things happen, and they wondering, and then they say, they just want to keep their foot on our necks, but you didn't know that person's position where enough of us could have got out and voted and moved that person out of office. And also, right, last point, do you believe that, is it possible for the community to rally behind someone, vote for that person, put that person in whatever prospective office that they're voting for, and that person supports or do the will of the people that put them in office?
Absolutely. So we got a lot. We got a question soup. You got a lot of questions. So from the gist of what I'm understanding, you're asking, do you believe that the younger generation can get behind a new politician and help promote their policies and procedures? And also, do I believe and the younger generation casting their vote, and does it really make a difference? I think that's what we're getting at. The gist of it. I think it's important because the youth feels like they're not heard. They don't feel like they're heard. And they want to feel like their voice means something. I can remember being 17, turning 18 in Chicago in 2008 when Barack Obama was running for president. And not saying that he's the greatest president of all time or I made the best decision. I made an individual decision to get to know who I was voting for and why.
Right.
So I made a decision. I just didn't go for what someone told me to vote for. I did the research. I learned that his wife, Michelle, had went to Gwendolyn Brooks right up the street from the school I went to. So that they had a family unit. They were husband and wife. They had 2 smaller children. They both struggled and became lawyers. So at the time, growing up in, I wouldn't say poverty. It wasn't poverty, but it was definitely lower middle class. And just saying, hey, I want better for myself. And just to see those individuals come out of lower middle class, top high class, to being wealthy, to being multimillionaires, I was like, I'm going to vote for them. That's what I want to do. I'm going to vote for them. She looks like me. She talks like me. Barack Obama doesn't look like me, but you know, I related to him. He was the underdog. He had just lost a Senate race, and people were counting him out. It was no way. The odds were stacked against him. So the fact that I like being an underdog, I'm like, okay, I want to vote for Barack Obama. It wasn't I was going to vote for him simply because my grandmother told me to vote for him. Right. My grandmother never even took me to go get registered to vote. It was my decision. I got registered to vote. I went and stood in a line and placed my vote because I knew that's what I wanted to do. And it's imperative that we teach our young adults, and especially ones that's about to be 17 to 18, to look at the candidates. Even if your parents disagree with your vote, that is your vote. Make sure you cast it. Your voice, your vote. And I stand on that because many times I've often heard parents say, that's not who I vote for, so you don't vote for them. And it takes away democracy. So we want to promote democracy in the fact that you have the ability to vote. Vote for who you want to vote for. Get out there and do the research. It's easy. Get out there, look them up, do a quick Google search. Now you can do a quick TikTok search. So search and make sure that's the person you're voting for. Don't follow behind your great-grandmother. Don't follow behind your mom with who they chose to vote for, because at that specific time, they may have voted for whomever because they fit their policies. And you might want to vote for a younger, energetic person. Not saying that younger people make better candidates or better leaders than older individuals, but you want to vote for somebody that registers with you.
And how can voting help an individual within their community?
It can help because anytime you're driving, especially on Little York, it's a pothole that's been there for years. When you're getting off the expressway, boom, 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 boom. When you're tired of hearing boom, 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 that's when you're voting for a politician that's going to not just say it, but really fix the roads. We have politicians take claim to Acres Home and say, this is where I reside, this is where I'm at. They live nowhere near Acres Home. I go to church in Acres Home and Blessed and Beyond, and our pastor is Dr. Apostle Martha Franks. And every Sunday and Saturday when I'm at church, I hit the same pothole. I'm tired of that. So I want to vote for somebody that's going to really fix the potholes. But unless you're driving that neighborhood, you don't care.
Right.
Because I know River Oaks doesn't have those potholes.
Right.
I know when you were en route to my home, you didn't drive and hit no pothole. You didn't drive and hit potholes.
Exactly.
So if I don't live in a neighborhood that has potholes, I don't think anybody else should.
Right.
I think that's fair. And me being a middle class, an American, I think everybody, regardless of social economic status, should be able to drive on a road that doesn't have a humongous pothole. And so I think that's imperative when you're looking for people, looking to vote. Look at what they're willing to make a change on. I think I ran on a change is going to come, you know.
Right.
Back to blue, but not bullies in blue.
Right.
And at that time, you know, we just understood that nobody likes a bully.
Right.
Nobody really wants to be around a bully, and a bully just isn't a person. It could be laws that are bullies.
Right.
It's laws on the books that are bullies. You know, it's certain laws that should be re-examined and looked at again. A law can be a bully. It's not just a person. It could be a certain police department that's a bully, that you feel over police minorities. Exactly. So when I thought of Back to Blue, but not bullies in blue, it truly means everything. Yeah. We have to look at laws. Have to look at policy and procedures. We have to look at SOP. We have to look and see, are they discharging or telling officers to go in a certain area? I love police officers. Back to Blue, I'm going to stand on, I love police officers. I don't hate police officers or anything like that. I'm a crisis chaplain also outside of ministry. So as a crisis chaplain, you're supposed to pray over these officers, and you know, you get to ride with them when they're doing death notifications and things of that nature. So it's imperative that you get out there and vote for somebody that understands the struggle that you're trying to convey.
Yeah, see, Dr. Robin, she breaks things down to its lowest common denominator, but she simplifies it. Now, check this out as far as potholes, right? And how it helps you, the individual, right? Say you driving down Little York, you hit a pothole, right? Suspension go out, flat tire, right? That's money, right? So voting for someone like Dr. Williams that would get that done, it would save you money over time. Suspensions, going to the auto shop just due to hitting that pothole, going at 45, 50 miles an hour. Now you got car damage. You know what I mean? Now you're spending money. And it's like, I don't have this money to give. To just give away, you know what I mean? Fix the streets, save my vehicle, you know what I mean? And that is the communication, the connection to someone who cares and someone who offers service right in the vehicle, chaplain, to actually see what's going on and how things can be improved. And it's like you said, care. You right? Some people who wear the uniform as a police officer, aka peace officer, don't care, and some care. But if someone is in office who knows the routes and knows how it's supposed to be done, can connect those dots and be like, wait a minute, you know, in order to make this work and be more efficient, you might want to do this. And then what that does is it smooths everything out across the board, and everybody can go home happy. See, the thing is, you know, you in politics, it's almost like competition. You got, you know, on one hand you got this group, on the other hand you got the people, on the other hand you got the politicians, right? And in the middle is nothing. And the people are like, how can we bridge it to where we're working together where everybody gets something out of it? You know, some politicians might want that seat for that prestige or that money, right? But what about the people that voted for you to get in the office, where they get out the deal?
Yeah, and I think that's important. A lot of younger voters want to know, why should I vote? What do you get out of the deal? You get change. You get to see a face that you're comfortable with. You get to see a face that you can relate to. That's imperative. You must vote for somebody that you can go to sleep at night, regardless if they win or lose, that this is where my vote went.
Right. This is where my vote went, because I know by voting for this person, I tried to get the pothole fixed. I tried to bring order where my children can go to school and not worry about getting shot down. I tried to put this because I care. But if you don't care, you're going to vote for whoever the TV commercials say.
Yeah.
You know.
Or whoever your parents say vote for. You know, oftentimes we're living in a time, do as I say and not as I do. No, it shouldn't be like that. You're 18 years old. You're able to enlist in the United States military. You're able to vote. So make a sound decision and cast your vote. Vote, regardless if it's a popular vote, regardless if the vote is going. And hey, you don't have to tell people who you're voting for. It's often said, don't talk about politics and religion or sexual orientation. That's no one's business. But if you decide to divulge your personal business, hey, I voted for such and such because I want those potholes fixed on Little York.
Now, before we get out of here, right? I just have to bring this topic up, right? You have a lot of colleges in the city of Houston, right? A lot of colleges, and the surrounding areas, right? Got a lot of political science majors, a lot of political professors at these universities, right? Why aren't the students, college students, even from high school too, equipped with the political process, even a write-in candidate in the process, because that also helps the city and helps them, and it helps us as society as a whole. What's going on with the institution of education that they're coming out, graduating with, don't have the awareness of how this system works?
I think maybe I haven't been in a bachelor's degree field in a while, but I believe that when your first introduction into college, I believe that there are some groups that are there because you can join maybe individuals that get other students registered to vote. But I believe that the reason why people don't know about write-in candidates or libertarians and what's the difference between a Democrat and a Republican, because it's forced to vote is forced down their throat. So anything that's forced upon you, you're going to stray away. I think if they bring it in and it's a more joyous experience, people would, the young adults will be more susceptible to it. But if they're forcing it on you, you're not, I don't want to hear. You know, when you were young, you didn't want to hear nothing somebody older than you said because we thought we knew everything.
Right.
So I think if we come in and we break it down and we introduce different political parties and how to be a write-in candidate, I think my biggest problem with being a write-in candidate was that I lost before the race even started. And what do you mean by you lost before the race even started? I didn't lose the votes with the people. The people loved me. They embraced me. But they were not taught how to write a candidate's name. I could scream it from the mountaintop, write my name. You know, they're just telling you either select politician, you either select Republican or Democrat. If you see a name, click a name. So they never taught Houston in general.
Right.
The news didn't do it. The individuals issuing out voting material does not teach what a write-in candidate is, and a write-in candidate can actually detour our entire race, because that's a wild card. That wild card, if you do it right, can win. It was a young lady who made history about, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. She became the first female mayor as a write-in candidate. Because they taught what it was. If you don't teach it, how can we understand it? And oftentimes, you'll lose the election, but you won't lose the connection with the people, if that makes sense. You lose the election, but not the connection. Because you can always run again. Will I ever run as a write-in candidate? Absolutely no. Why? The reason why I would not run as a write-in candidate is because the news does not do their job with pushing what to vote for, how to vote for. They'll have segments and they'll just tell you go in there, you put your paper in there, click who you want to vote for. But what about the individuals? You have to literally just type a name in there. And oftentimes people don't want to do that extra step. Voting can be scary for a young adult or even an older person or even a senior citizen. So if they're so used to clicking the name and no one has ever said write someone's name, they're not going to do it.
Right.
It's not that they don't like you as a candidate. They just don't understand the voting process. And I think we need to teach that across the board, because that would allow so many other candidates to want to run versus you running against, I think it was 20 other candidates running for mayor, and I was a lone wolf and write my name, say my name, write my name. So you're scrolling down this long list and you're looking for Robin Williams and you don't see it. Oh, I forgot she said write her name. So it's almost like a losing battle. You lose the election, but I did not lose the connection. And so that's one thing that I love. I wouldn't change that I was a write-in candidate, because I learned so much. Had I not been a write-in candidate, I wouldn't have never known what it was.
I see.
And so because I have that experience, I love the fact that I was able to debate against seasoned politicians. And not only that, but to also introduce new ideas. Mental health is real. I also ran on that platform. Mental health is real. It's no longer a silent elephant, because we know school shootings are happening more and more. We have terroristic attacks. We have individuals jumping off a bridge to their death. We have children as small as 8 years old committing suicide. So it's no longer a silent elephant. It is the elephant. It's taking up the room. So that's why it's imperative that we teach all forms. You know, even if you're not a libertarian, even if you're not a Democrat, even if you're not a Republican, understanding what it is.
Well, Robin, I'd like to personally thank you for your service, and also thank you for caring. And also thank you for educating us on the voting process. So now we are equipped and ready to roll.
Yes, and so when and if I decide to run for any political election again, you will never have to write my name. You will just have to click my name.
Thank you. And before we go, is there anything that you would like to share?
Absolutely. Even if you're not religious, even if you're not a Christian or anything like this, I'll leave you with one of my favorite scriptures, Psalms 37. I've been young, I've been old. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. And you can apply that to any part of your life. That was King David saying, I was young, now I'm old. And from his experience, he's like, look, certain things will prevent certain things. So you can apply that to politics. I've been younger, and now I'm a established young lady, but I do know right from wrong. So I've been young, and now that I'm older, I'm telling you, your voice and your vote matters.
So much right here on Bro Creek Radio, Dr. Robin Williams. We out.